أولى ثانوي. فرصة جديدة وحلم جديد وهنعديها بالتأكيد، وهنعديها بالتأكيد. أولى ثانوي.
Dear secondary stage students, year 1, welcome to our English program and welcome to our channel مدرستنا 3 under the supervision of the Ministry of Education. مرحبا بكم أعزائي طلبة وطالبات الصف الأول الثانوي وحلقة جديدة وقناتكم مدرستنا 3 تحت إشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Today we are going to take part 2 of unit 4. It's the grammar time today. We are going to study grammar. We are going to study the countable and uncountable nouns. We're going to use the definite article and indefinite article. And we are going to use some quantifiers. So let's start together. Our objectives for today is to differentiate between the countable and uncountable nouns. And again, we are going to use the definite and the indefinite articles, how to use the, a, or an. We want to use these articles correctly. Okay, let's start. What is a noun? First of all, what is a noun? A noun is a word that describes a person, a noun that is a name of a person, like for example, a boy or a girl. It can be the name of an animal, like a cat or a dog. It can be the name of a place, like a supermarket or a hotel. It can be anything like a pen or a paper. And it can be abstract noun, such as beauty, honesty, something which we can't touch with our hands. Something abstract, شيء معنوي, we cannot touch, like beauty, like happiness, like honesty. And it can be the name of a person. It can be Nancy, Susie, Mary, Jane. This is a noun. Okay, how can we know that a noun is countable or uncountable? How do you know? Can we say I have 10 money? Of course not. This is wrong. We cannot say 10 money. But we can say I have 10 pounds. So the word pound is countable. We can say 1 pound, 2 pounds. But the word money is uncountable. We cannot say 1 money, 2 monies. So the word money is uncountable. What does it mean it's uncountable? It means that it takes a singular verb, so we say money is. And we cannot use many with the word money. We can use the word much or little. We cannot use many or few, as we are going to see now. So what are the uncountable nouns? For example, we can say all liquids are uncountable. Liquids, what are liquids? Liquids like water, like milk, coffee, juice, and so on. These are liquids. What about the other thing? It can be any quantity. Quantity اللي هي كمية. What's quantities? حاجات بنجيبها بالكميات مش بالnumbers. يعني we cannot say 1 sugar, but we can say a cup of sugar. We can say a spoon of sugar, a kilo of sugar. So quantities like sugar, flour, sand, rice, and so on. We have also abstract nouns. As I said before, abstract means the things which we cannot touch. حاجات ما نقدرش نلمسها بإيدينا، حاجات معنوية. Like beauty, honesty, love, and loyalty. We have also other things like news, bread, luggage, advice. All these words are uncountable noun, and we said that uncountable noun cannot be made plural. We cannot make them plural. How can we count the words which are uncountable? They are uncountable. We cannot say, for example, toothpaste. We cannot say 1 toothpaste, 2 toothpaste. If I wanted to count them, I can put a partitive. What's a partitive? Partitive means a part of something. So if you wanted to buy toothpaste, you can say a tube of toothpaste. A tube of toothpaste. أنبوبة من معجون الأسنان. We can say a tube, 2 tubes, 3 tubes. And here we count the tubes, not the word toothpaste. What about box of matches? We can say box of matches, 2 boxes of matches, a sheet of paper, a glass of water, a lump of sugar or a cube of sugar, a loaf of bread, we can say 1 loaf, 2 loaves of bread, and so on. A jar of jam, a bar of chocolate, and so on. So here are some partitives which we can use with uncountable nouns if we wanted to take part of these things. Here is a very important part. Some words can be uncountable and can be countable at the same time, but with different meaning. For example, the word glass. If we talk about the material itself, it's uncountable. But if we talk about the container, look at the picture, the container itself. I put the tea in a glass. A glass is a container in which we put the liquid. So here it's countable. You can say a glass or 2 glasses. The word iron, again, the word iron, if we mean the material itself, it's uncountable. But if we mean this device by which we iron clothes, it's countable. We can say an iron. So an iron is the device by which we iron clothes. What about the word paper? We can say paper. We have some white paper, for example, or colored paper or wallpaper. This is uncountable. But if we say a paper, it means a document, an important document. It will be countable. Do you remember in our story, Treasure Island, we have a very important paper. This is a map of the treasure. So it was countable here. We said that the pirates want to find the papers. The papers means the very important documents. So the word paper can be uncountable and it can be countable. Again, the word experience, if we say about our experience at work, so we say much experience. But if we say about situations which we have passed during our life, we say an experience or many experiences, and so on. The word light, if we say light, the light of the sun, it's uncountable. But if we say many lights or a light, it means the lamp itself. It's the source of or the device which gives the light. Again, we have the word time. The word time is uncountable. But if I say I go to the cinema many times, here it's countable. What about the word wood? If we talk about the material itself, wood, we say the chair is made of wood, it's uncountable. But if we say it's the forest, it's the woods. The woods means the forest which full of trees. How can we deal with these nouns? If they are countable, we are going to use many or a few. We can use plural to say that it's a great number, and we use a few to say that it's a small number. Have you got many friends? Yes, I have got many. No, I haven't got many friends. A few or few. What is the difference between few and a few? A few means little, but it will be enough. But the word few means very little. It will not be enough. Look at the example. I have a few eggs, just enough for dinner. So I have little number of eggs, but they are enough. So here we use a few. But if I say I have few eggs, I need to buy more. So here they are not enough and we need to buy more. So with countable nouns, we use many for a large number and a few for a small number. What about uncountable nouns? With uncountable nouns, we use much or a little. Again, we use much if the quantity is great. Did you eat much rice? No, I didn't eat much rice. So I didn't eat much means I didn't eat a great quantity. What about the word a little and little? The word a little means small quantity and it will be enough. But little means it's not enough again. So there is little butter in the fridge. When I say there is a little, it means it's a small quantity, but it will be enough. We can make a cake with this quantity. But what about there is little milk? There is little milk means it's too small and it will not be enough. We need to buy more. So again, we use much and little with uncountable nouns. What about the word lots of or a lot of? These are used with both plural and uncountable, with countable and uncountable. I have a lot of pens, I have lots of pens, or she needs to buy a lot of flour. So we can use it with countable and with uncountable nouns. What about the word some? Again, the word some can be used with both. We can use it in affirmative. There is some cheese in the fridge. There are some people queuing up in front of the bank. So we can use some with countable and uncountable. It can be used in a question which expresses offer or request. So we can say, would you like some tea? Here we cannot say, would you like any tea? We say, would you like some tea? Because it's an offer. I offer you some tea. And we can say, can I have some paper? Because here it's a request. I ask you for some paper. Can I have some paper, please? So we use some in affirmative sentence, and it can be used in a question if the question is offer or request. What about the word any? The word any is used in negative and interrogative. So we can use, there isn't any cheese. We don't have any. There aren't any pupils. Again, it's used with countable and uncountable. What about interrogative? We can use interrogative like, is there any milk left in the bottle? Are there any pupils in the class? So we can use any with an interrogative means in a question. Is there any milk left in the bottle? Look at these questions. Number 1, we didn't do shopping last week. The word shopping, is the word shopping countable or uncountable? We said that anything which is abstract is uncountable. So what about the word shopping? Of course, the word shopping is uncountable because we cannot touch. It's something abstract. So we say much shopping. We didn't do much shopping. We cannot use many. We cannot use a few because they are used with uncountable nouns. And again, some is not used in the negative form. We can use any in the negative form, and we can use much in the negative form. So we say we didn't do much. If I say I didn't do any, it means that I didn't do any shopping at all. But if I use much, it means that I did some shopping, but not much. Question number 2, I still have things to do. I still have things to do. Look at the word things with the letter S here. It's a plural. So it's a countable noun. It's not uncountable. So can we use a little? Of course not. Can we use much? Of course not. These are used with uncountable. We can use a few or a lot. I still have things to do. So I still have a few things to do. Why didn't we use a lot? A lot can be used with both countable and uncountable. Why didn't we use it? Because we must say a lot of. A lot of. If I want to say, I have a lot of things to do. So it needs the preposition of. Question number 3, I am going to buy bread. I'm going to buy bread. Look at the word bread. Is it countable or uncountable? Can we say one bread, two breads? Of course not. So it's uncountable. So I am going to buy some bread, a few, two, or many. Of course, it's some. Because a few and many are used with countable noun. And the two must be followed with plural. So here we use some bread. Question number 4. Can you give me advice? Can you give me advice? Do you remember the word advice? Is it countable or uncountable? Can we make it plural? Of course not. So it's uncountable. So can you give me a few advice, some advice, many advice, or one advice? Of course, we cannot use many because many is with countable. Again, one. And a few with countable again. So here we have some advice. Can you give me some advice? And here it's a request. I ask you for a favor. Can you give me some advice? Okay, now we are going to talk about something different. The definite and definite article. The definite and indefinite article. The indefinite articles, a or an. So we use a or an in front of a singular noun. If it is countable, singular noun, we use a or an. And we use the It's the definite article. Definite article, the. How can we use these articles? Let's see together. When do we use a or an? When do we use the? And when do we use no article? First of all, the indefinite article a and an. These are used before singular countable nouns. Of course, we cannot use a or an in front of uncountable. No, we cannot. We cannot say an advice, for example. It's wrong. And we cannot say a sugar. So it should be countable. And it should be singular, not plural. Okay? So in order to use a or an, it should be countable and it should be singular. So here we say he is a scientist. He is an architect. So here we use a because the word scientist starts with letter S. It's a consonant. And here we use an because the word architect starts with the letter A. It's a vowel. So when do we use a? We use a in front of a noun that starts with a consonant. Consonant sound like B, C, D, F, and so on. These are consonant. What about an? An is used when the word starts with a vowel, like A, E, I, O, or U. These are the vowels in English. Look here at the letter U. The letter U sometimes is vowel and sometimes is a consonant. So, for example, if I say an uncle, here the letter U is a vowel. We say uncle, an uncle. An umbrella, we say an umbrella because U here is a vowel and we use an. What about here in this example? A user, a university, a uniform. The letter U is pronounced U. Here it's a consonant. So if the letter U is pronounced A, like umbrella or uncle, it's a vowel. If it is pronounced U, like user, university, or uniform, it's a consonant, and we use here a, not an. Again, look at the letter H. The letter H is not a vowel, but when it is silent, we don't pronounce it, we use an. Look at the word here, for example, an honest man, an honorable person, or an hour. Here the letter H is not a vowel, but we don't look at it at all because it's silent. Here it's silent, so we use an honest, an honorable, or an hour. So when do we use a or the? We use a when something is mentioned for the first time. For example, I see a cat. The cat here is something indefinite. There are a lot of cats in the street and I see one of them, so I see a cat. But when I mention the word again, I will say the cat is orange, because here I'm talking about a definite cat, a particular one which I look at. So when you mention something for the first time, use a or an, and when you mention it for the second time, use the. Like here, for example, we can say, I can see a scooter. The scooter is blue. Okay, so in the first sentence, it's mentioned for the first time, we use a. In second sentence, we mentioned it again, we use the. Again, when can we use the? We use it with unique things. What is unique? Unique, something which is different. You remember the word unique, we studied it before. Something which is different from other things. For example, we can say the moon, the sun, the sky, the stars, and so on. Also, we use the with the rivers. We say the Red Sea, for example. With mountains, we can say the Amazon. With the oceans, we can say the Pacific, and so on. We can use the, again, with the names of countries which have the word republic, kingdom, or states. So for example, you can say the United Kingdom, or the United States of America, or the Arab Republic of Egypt. But when we say Egypt, we don't put that. So if the name of the country is divided into three words, like here, the United States of America, we use that. Again, we use that in front of inventions, like the piano, musical instrument like the piano, the flute, or inventions like the mobile or the telephone or the internet. Okay, we're going to talk about more about the things which take there, and especially the things which we don't use any article. We use no article with them, but we are going to do that on the mirror board. Okay, let's go together. We're going to talk about the use of articles. We talked about the definite article da and when we use them, when we use it, and we talked about the indefinite article a or an and when we use it. Here we are going to focus on some special notes, like for example, when do we use no article? Sometimes we don't use any article in front of the noun. Like for example, we say go home or go to bed. Go home means go to return to your home, or go to bed means go to sleep. So here we don't use the article a, an, or the. Again, when we talk about meals, when we talk about breakfast, lunch, dinner, we don't use any articles. So I say, I take my breakfast at 10 o'clock. I take my lunch at 3 o'clock. I take my dinner. So here we don't use a, an, or the. But we can use the if we talked about a particular lunch or a particular breakfast. For example, we can say the lunch which I took at the restaurant was delicious. So here I'm talking about something in particular. But when I talk generally, we don't use any article. Again, with places like school, hospital, or prison. Generally, we use the in front of places. So I say I go to the cinema, I go to the supermarket. But with these places, sometimes we use the and sometimes we don't. Look at these two examples. I go to school early. Here from this sentence, you understand that the person is talking is a student. I go to school. It means I attend school, I'm a student, and I go to school to learn. So here we don't use that. But when I say, my father went to the school to meet the teacher. So here I use the school. What is the difference between the first one and second one? In the second sentence, my father is not a student. My father went for another reason. He went to the school for another reason, just to meet the teacher. So here we use the. So these places, hospital, prison, and the school, if we go to these places for their original reason, so we don't use that. I say I go to school means I'm a student. I went to hospital means I am ill and I go to have treatment. I go to prison means I'm a criminal and I'm punished at this prison. But if I use that with these places, it means that I go for another reason. For example, I went to the prison to visit someone. I went to the hospital to visit my uncle. So here are examples of things which we don't use the. Go home, go to bed, I have breakfast, I go to school, or I go to hospital, or I go to prison. As we have seen, we studied today two parts of grammar. We studied the countable and uncountable nouns. We said that uncountable nouns, the things which we cannot count, with these words we use the, with these words we can use much, we can use a little, but there are some words which are countable. We can count. We can use many or few with these words. We said also that there are some nouns that can be countable and uncountable at the same time, like the word, for example, the word glass. We can say glass as a material, it's an uncountable noun, but we say a glass, it's countable. And we talked about the partitives, how we can count the things which are uncountable. We can say, for example, a bar of chocolate. We can say a sheet of paper, and so on. We talked also about the articles, the definite and indefinite article. When we use a or an, we use it with singular nouns, of course, countable and singular nouns. And we use that when something is unique, when we talk about for example, a country which has the word republic, we say the Arab Republic of Egypt, and so on. So study these two parts of grammar well and answer as many questions as you can. Until we meet again next time, wish you best of luck. Goodbye.
أولى ثانوي، فرصة جديدة وحلم جديد، وهنعديها بالتأكيد، وهنعديها بالتأكيد. أولى ثانوي.